Hey, what's going on, folks? Well, it's that time again. It's Tuesday. Time for another Tackle Tuesday video.
I'm a whiskey drinking SOB. If you don't like that, then you won't like me. I'm an outlaw. I said I'm an outlaw.
Let me just go ahead and state from the get-go here that on our Tackle Tuesday videos, these aren't like all the things on the market or the correct way to fish this particular bait or whatever. It's just my favorite way of the bait and my favorite way of rigging the bait. So with all that said, this week's video, I'm going to talk about my favorite craws, my favorite creature bait, and then of course we're going to talk about lizards. One of my favorite baits. All three of these are my favorite three baits to throw when the condition is right and you're trying to trying to mimic bottom dwellers. Like I said, a craw would be, something on the bottom. A lizard's going to be foraging on the bottom, and then your creature bait is just whatever the hell it's supposed to represent. It's foraging on the bottom. So I guess first we'll talk about the craw. That is my very, very, very favorite craw of anything that anybody makes. It's made by a company called Big Bites Baits. I'm sure you've heard of them before, but it's just a crawdad. This is the closest I've been able to find to something that is pretty much lifelike, authentic crawdad looking. It's hollow bodied up in the front, which gives it a nice little buoyancy. It's pretty good size. I fish it with anything from a 3/0 to a 5/0. Extra wide gap worm hook. I usually fish it Texas rigged. As you can see, here's our hook setup. Basically go in the first, quarter inch or so, bring it. Oh fuck, I just ripped it. Anyways, bring it up through here, and then of course bring it back in through the bait and skin tuck it right here. I fish it with pretty much, and that's just going to be the same for all three of these baits. I fish it pretty much Texas rigged. I do fish them weightless depending on the situation. If I feel that I need weight, I put a little bit of trying to hold it up there, a little 1/8 ounce all the way up to a 1/4 ounce. Just typical lead bullet weight, like so. So, it's an awesome little bait. Basically what I do is I just throw it out, let it sit on the bottom for a few seconds, and then slightly just give it a little bump, bring it up off the bottom, let it drop back down, bring it up off the bottom, let it drop back down, bring it up off the bottom, let it drop back down. You can fish this on a, give me a second to pull one out here. You can fish it on a wacky rig if you so desired, basically same thing. But if I was going to fish it on a wacky rig, I'd down the profile on it by cutting a section off of it to give you more of a hook like this in it versus, a hook way back here in the bait. You got all this other stuff floating out here. But like I said, you could fish that. Pretty much, all three of these baits, you really could fish them with the wacky rig if you so desired as well. So here's this guy. Like I said, they can be used, they can be thrown on a jig as well. Same thing on this particular jig. I'm sure you can't see it, but I cut a couple of sections off of it, threw it up on the jig, and gave me a nice little profile on this particular jig here. These things come in pretty much every color you can imagine. And if you follow my links that are going to be down in the description below, Tackle Warehouse has these guys on sale right now. They're getting real hard for me to find here in Texas. I'm finding them in closeout bins and stuff like that. I don't know if Big Bites isn't going to make them anymore or what the deal is. And another little pointer tip, not pro, but another little pointer tip here is that you can also find these guys on Amazon in a large bulk quantity of like 50 of them or whatever for like 15 or 20 bucks. My plan is, right before that fish got me, I was sitting here thinking, 2-3 weeks ago, craws were working really good out here. There he is. There he is. He's pretty decent. I don't know if y'all can see him, but I'm watching him on the camera. He's no fiver, but he's a pretty good one. Alright, where's that hook at? On the side of your mouth. Alright, the next bait I'm going to talk about here is going to be a real good creature bait. A lot of people nickname these or call these beavers. My favorite particular brand is going to be React Innovations Sweet Beavers. I pretty much only have one package, and I'll pretty much only use one color when it comes to these guys, and that's going to be what they call the Watermelon Red, and this is a Sweet Beaver 420. Yum also makes these. I've seen them. They're almost identical baits, so if you're looking for the particular same thing, you can find it in a Yum bait. I'll have to look around on Tackle Warehouse when I do the links and see if I can actually find the Yums on there, so I can tag them in there and be able to give you the exact name of it, because these Yums that I've got here were in a clearance bin, and they were just marked Crawdad, which I guess this guy kind of looks like Crawdad. But you know, basically the same theory here. You're going to Texas rig it, bring it in about 1/4 of an inch, pull it up the bend on a 3 to 5 aught extra wide gap, bring it back in. There's plenty of meat there to skin tuck it and keep you weedless. And same thing, man, I'm going to run either the 1/8 ounce or the 1/4 ounce weight on it, and pretty much fish it by the same technique you would on the that craw that we talked about a few minutes ago. Just kind of drop it, let it sit, bounce it, let it sit, bounce it, let it sit, bounce it. Again, another awesome killer when it comes to fishing those bass that are foraging, trying to eat stuff up off the bottom. Again, that can be wacky rigged. And the last thing I'm going to talk about here is going to be just good old-fashioned, everybody's seen them, just a lizard. My favorite color to fish in the lizard is always going to be something dark like this. This is black and it has purple flakes in it. Don't really know what the name of it is, because again, this was another clearance bin item and it doesn't have a name on it. Yeah, it doesn't have a name on it. This particular one is also by Big Bites. I typically use Zoom's lizards. They're calling it a Super Salt Plus 6-inch, and the one I like on the Zooms is either going to be black with a chartreuse tail, or this particular color right here, which is going to be Plum Crazy, which is kind of like a plum color with blue and all kinds of flakes in it. But another one of my favorite baits. I've caught a tremendous amount of big fish on these lizards. Woo! he's pretty goddamn good. It's kind of crazy because several of the guys that I fish with, they, you know, wow, you're throwing a lizard, wow, you're throwing a craw, you know, is that the right time of year for this or whatever? But, you know, I've been doing it, been tearing it up, and, you know, they're all freaking out because they're throwing Cincos and stuff like that when it comes to doing this stuff. Just preferences again, myself, I usually don't fish any soft plastic, bottom type baits with anything but a spinning rod. Usually my spinning rod's got braid wrapped up on it every time. I've got two rods, they're both 6.6s, they're both medium heavies, and they're both set up with, I think, 30-pound braid. So, you know, pretty simple, pretty easy. A lot of times when you're fishing these types of bait, you're fishing around cover, you know, stuff like that, wood piles, rock piles, laydowns, stuff like that. That's the reason I'm fishing it on the braid, because it gives me that extra oomph to be able to pull it up out of there, to be able to pull a fish that tries to wrap up and cover or whatever. And you know, so that's pretty much it. Hope you guys liked the video. Hopefully it was informative. I think next week we're going to talk a little bit about, I don't know, I'll have to think about it. But anyways, thanks again for watching. Watch that video, subscribe over here and all that kind of good stuff. And as always, 500 subscribers, we're going to do another big giveaway. I've got, for right now, I don't know if this is exactly what I'm going to do, but I got a empty MTB box over there. Well, it's not empty, but it's an old MTB box that I've been tossing baits in that I don't use or that I won't use. And everything in there will be brand new, as in never been used. So probably going to give that away in the near future. Anyways, subscribe, watch the videos. Thanks. Bye.